Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to the Michigan International Speedway, as we are here for the penultimate feature event of the season, the Michigan 100K. This is going to be a 32-lap race around this 2-mile racetrack in Brooklyn, Michigan. 24 drivers, as always, ready to see who gets the race victory, but one driver in particular looking to see if he can win the championship. That is Jesse Turner, who comes into this race with 118 points towards the championship, a 19-point lead on Noah Clifton, who is second in the championship standings. Essentially, if Jesse Turner wins this race and Noah Clifton finishes third or worse, Turner is going to be your Wawa Pro Series champion for season number 1. But if he does not clinch the championship here today, there's one more race for him to do so 3 weeks from now from Darlington. But today the focus is on Michigan. It's been a long time since we've had an event here. Of course, we had the sprint race yesterday. And Zachary Fitzwater won his 25th career race on the channel yesterday in that sprint race. But he starts deep in the field as the fastest driver in that event was William Brock in the number 5, who also finished second yesterday in the sprint race. Another driver in the championship standings who is close to Turner coming into this one is Hunter Braxton. He's 24 points behind coming in. And then you have Chris Reynolds 27 points behind, still with a pretty decent chance at possibly winning the championship. And then behind there you have Seth Cole, 40 behind, Nathan Faden, 42 behind, Nathan Orman, 50 behind, Dylan Young is also 50 points behind, Thomas Troxell is 52 behind, and then Will Parrish, 54 behind, coming into today's event. And I should also mention Zachary Fitzwater is 55 behind there, 11th in the championship standings. Those are the only drivers who have any mathematical chance of winning this championship. Yes, Zachary Fitzwater actually has a mathematical chance of winning the championship. The thing that's going to have to happen for him, he's going to have to get the fastest lap, win this race, win the sprint race next week, and then have the fastest lap and win the feature event. He'd have to essentially, he's done half of it, essentially, at this point, because he won the sprint race last time out at Martinsville and then won the feature event. He won the sprint race yesterday. He's got to keep a streak of 6 races in a row. That's a lot. That has never happened before on the channel. 3 races in a row in of itself is incredibly rare, but Fitzwater starts deep in the field here today. He actually starts alongside Jesse Turner back in the field, so we'll have to see if anything happens to Fitzwater, if he has any mathematical chance, but we could see Turner just clinch the championship outright here today. We have 11 drivers with a mathematical chance coming into this race, and we could leave with just one having an opportunity heading into Darlington, and that being Jesse Turner. Let's go ahead and get these guys to roll off here in the Michigan 100K. William Brock in the number 5, starting on the pole position alongside Priya McShane. They were the 2 fastest drivers with the fastest laps yesterday in the sprint race. For number 2 is Thomas Troxell and Hunter Braxton there. Dan Park and Trey Wright make up row number 3. Brandon Nelson and Will Parrish, Brennan Wilmington and Dylan Young. A lot of guys who we haven't seen too much of this season. Of course, Dylan Young has won a couple of races this season. And Vlad Prescott there to the inside of Ryan Durrani, Nathan Norman and Nathan Stapleton, Ethan Lewis, Chris Reynolds, Jesse Turner could win the championship here today to the inside of Zachary Fitzwater, Logan Williams, Noah Clifton, Seth Cole, Nathan Faden, and then Christian Master and Zach Winkle. Of course, the main 4 drivers, I think, who still have a good chance at this are Jesse Turner, Noah Clifton, Hunter Braxton, and Chris Reynolds. Braxton there starting in the 4th position. Chris Reynolds there starting midway through the field there in the 16th position. Noah Clifton starting in the 20th position. And the number 1, or should I say the number 17, is Jesse Turner, who is our points leader, starting in the 17th position. So a lot of those guys, with the exception of Hunter Braxton, kind of starting deep in the field here. But the good thing about this place is that you can work your way from the back to the front relatively easy. There will also be a cycle of pit stops here today, roughly around lap 25, lap 26, in a 32-lap race. We'll have to see how that all goes down. William Brock and Priya McShane lead us to the green flag, and we're underway in the Michigan 100K. can see how loose those guys get in the middle here at the Michigan International Speedway. And William Brock's going to lead that first lap there. That outside lane works very well here, especially through the exit, but the way outside lane does not, and if you overshoot the corner, you lose a lot of momentum. So there's a sweet spot there on that outside lane for these guys to get. And if you're not careful, you won't hit that sweet spot and you'll lose a lot of ground. Trey Wright kind of trying to work that middle lane, and he's going to get a bit of an advantage there on Priya McShane off the corner. Of course, we saw at the start of the race there how William Brock just ripped it on that outside lane and got past everyone. Thomas Troxel going to follow suit behind him there. There's a couple guys who had a really good start to the season. I mean, Troxel almost won the opening race of the season, and arguably has not recovered since then. Of course, then again, he's got 5 top 5s on the season and is still within mathematical range of winning the championship. He's going to have a lot to have to go his way. 52 behind. Going to take quite a bit in order for him to have any opportunity. But he's going to get around the number 5 of William Brock right there on lap number 3. Top 3 kind of all on their own right now. And then it's almost 4 wide behind them as you got Brendan Wilmington and Will Parrish battling it out right there. I just realized there are 2 Bass Pro Shop cars in this field. I just now realized that at the 14th race of the season. We've been doing this for almost 6 months now. I tell you what, we're going to have a fun season next year, though, with all the custom cars coming back. William Brock to the inside of Thomas Troxel for the race lead, and these 2 guys duking it out. Now, Hunter Braxton has an opportunity at taking the points lead, heading into the finale race. If he wins this race and Turner falls outside the top 10. And Turner is right now last, which is not at all where he was at Martinsville a couple weeks ago. Ended up getting a podium finish out of that race after everything just went completely bananas at the end. Chris Reynolds could have easily have come into this race the points leader if Reynolds had won that event at Martinsville, but he didn't have enough fuel in the tank in that event in Martinsville, and Jesse Turner ended up getting third. And Turner and Reynolds had the same strategy as well at the end of that race, which is also very interesting. But Turner just saved enough to make it to the end, and that right there may have just been the swing in the championship. However, if Turner falls outside, and Hunter Braxton here, who is currently battling second with William Brock, wins, Braxton's going to head into that final race, the points leader. Noah Clifton also has the opportunity of doing so as well. They're the only 3 guys who have an opportunity at being the points leader heading into Darlington 3 weeks from now. Troxel looking very fast. He got around William Brock right there. Trey Wright, Dylan Young on this inside lane. Ryan Arani up here. Another guy we really haven't seen much of this season, Ethan Stapleton, is actually last in points coming into this race. He doesn't even have a full race win worth of points yet this season. That would be 25 points, and he's only got 22 on the season. And I'll tell you what, Hunter Braxton, the way they're currently running at this very moment, is the points leader. And after what Turner did last week, I don't think we anticipated him falling outside and not having a shot. Or should I say, falling outside the top 10 and actually losing the points lead is what I meant to say right there. But here he is in position right now. However, we're still early on in this race, only lap 7 of 32. Hunter Braxton has a long ways to go, and Troxel and William Brock are going to be hard to beat in this race, I do believe. But these 3 guys may be the 3 guys here who battle for this race victory. Of course, 2 of these guys finished top 3 yesterday in the sprint race. As Braxton and William Brock, so you know they're looking very strong. Of course, Braxton got that extra point, so that's definitely going to go a long ways in terms of this championship. Braxton has not even had a good run since put out a month and a half ago in this series. Realistically, it's been a while since he's actually gotten any points in this series. Yet he still has an opportunity at winning this championship. It's the strange nature of the point system here in the Wawa Pro Series, and we're seeing that come into full effect here late in the season. Trey Wright, William Brock there. They're inside the points right now. Troxel looking to the inside of Braxton. He's going to have a nose to the inside, but Braxton, I do believe, will still lead this lap. Of course, no bonus points for leading a lap in this series. That's only in the Haas IndyCar Series, but that number 1 machine going to hang on and still lead here at Michigan. You got William Brock here to number 5. He's going to try to get to that inside lane. Troxel, though, is going to split the middle and take the lead away from Braxton, and now Braxton's going to fall back a little bit right there in the 1. Jesse Turner is kind of mired deep in the field here. He's just going to have to hope that those guys who he's contending with in this championship don't get any points here today as well. But Braxton's the guy he's got to worry about, because Braxton could theoretically take the points lead at the end of this race if he wins. And he's running third right now. Clifton and Reynolds, they have essentially been outside the top 10 this entire race so far. So the way things are running right now, they may not get any points towards the championship. But we'll just have to see how that all goes down. We'll take a look as well as they're 3 wide for the race lead. How about this? It could be like this right at the end of the race between these 3 guys. Braxton, Brock, and Troxel all looking very strong here in Michigan. Don't count out Priya McShane, though. She's going to get a shot through the middle, and Braxton has to check up there, and it's a battle between Brock and Troxel for the race lead. Fastest lap. Oh, this is really interesting. Fastest lap right now is also going to Hunter Braxton. That's currently. So if Braxton holds on to a top 10 run, holds on to the fastest lap, he gets another bonus point. And like I said, every point matters. And that could very well come into effect 3 weeks from now at Darlington. Stapleton going to split the middle between Trey Wright and Hunter Braxton. He's going to try to get something to go his way. It has not been a good season at all for Nathan Stapleton. He'd love to double his points here today, and the only way he's going to do that if he goes to victory lane. Braxton falling back there. He's kind of stuck in that inside lane as Stapleton, William Brock, Trey Wright work that outside of their advantage, and Braxton falling way back in the 1. Now still inside the top 10. But not exactly in a prime position. And you see Turner, he is still very far behind. Currently 2 seconds off the race lead, 12 laps into this race. He's starting to get single file up front right now. William Brock getting some help there from Trey Wright. Of course, Trey Wright won at Atlanta. We're never going back there again. I hated that. I didn't actually hate the NR race that we did. I think the race we had was alright. But I hated the real-life one to the extent that I don't even want to go there in the game anymore. So we're not going back there next season in the Wawa Pro Series. And I know, yeah, we can go to the original old version, but you know what? We got enough mile and a halves on the schedule already that are just as good as the old Atlanta Motor Speedway. I'm just going to give Atlanta the finger for season number 2. And maybe once we get to season number 3, I'll soften up to it. But that's a little ways down the road. But either way, this is a great track here at the Michigan International Speedway, and Thomas Troxel is loving it as he has been out front for more than anyone in this race, I do believe. But Stapleton's coming to the field very quick here. He's to the inside of William Brock for the race, or for second place, I should say. And now Trey Wright going to shoot the middle right there. And Hunter Braxton on the verge of falling outside the top 10, which is exactly what Turner wants to see. 29 points is the absolute maximum amount of points you can be behind a driver heading into the final race in order to surpass them in the point standing. So if you are 30 points behind or more, you are out of the championship after this race. So we'll have to see who's 30 points behind or more, and then we'll know who's all in contention. But the way this is going, I don't think Turner's going to clinch. However, this whole pack is kind of staying with each other, and Turner could find his way up front if things go his way. Braxton holding on to a point. That's not really going to give him too much. So Turner can kind of afford a couple of points right there. And Braxton, oh boy, he can also afford Braxton to wreck out in this race as well. But he doesn't want to wreck out, and he may right here. Wilmington's around, and Turner, I believe, got a piece of that. Ethan Lewis went around, and so did Wilmington. It wasn't a major accident, but it will bring out the caution here on lap 15. So this will be the opportunity for the field to come down the pit lane. They come down here, they won't have to come down again. Troxel wins the race back to the line. Brennan Wilmington around with Ethan Lewis. I don't know if there's any damage on Turner. I don't see any. I don't think anyone really got any major damage from that. They were all going at such a high rate of speed, and all the hits were in movement of high rate of speed. So they kind of hit. I don't know how to explain it. They're both going in the same direction at relatively the same speed, so that when they hit each other, it's not like they're hitting each other head on. I guess that's what I meant to say. Hey, look, I was terrible in physics when I did that years ago in high school, and don't think I'll ever be good at it. Well, a very convenient time for the caution. We will not have to go with green flag pit stops, which will definitely benefit some drivers in the field, no doubt about that. It would have been interesting to see a green flag race and strategy come into play there, but that will not be the case here. Thomas Troxel going to lead the field of the green flag. Oh. this is interesting. I don't know about this strategy for some of these guys. Now, Turner is coming down. Maybe they're hoping for another caution, but I do not agree with that. Now, Clifton's the only... Clifton and Reynolds. Both Clifton and Reynolds staying out here. I'm wondering if they're trying to stretch it to the end, but I just don't see that working out. So we'll go ahead and see how this all goes in the pit lane. And looks like it's just a bunch of topping off for a lot of these guys. I don't see any tires being changed on anyone, but some guys I think were in their pit stalls a little bit longer than others. I'll say that much. William Brock and Hunter Braxton lost a lot of ground right there. But Troxel didn't even seem like he was in his pit stall that much. The only concern is if they put enough fuel in. I don't want this to be a fuel mileage race kind of coming to the end for no good reason. But these guys are kind of putting themselves in a bit of a bind because they didn't even come down. Faden leading the field in number 99. Let's go ahead and see what happened. Bring out the caution here in the Michigan 100K. Brendan Williamson, Ethan Lewis going around down the backstretch here in Michigan. Well, you're going to see right here, Ethan Lewis kind of got shuffled out there by Faden. Faden came in and bumped into him, and that got Lewis all squirrely there on that outside lane. Very squirrely on that outside lane. And you see he tries to come back down here on Nathan Ormond, and Wilmington and Ormond slide up into him. It wouldn't have happened if Lewis kind of didn't get shot up there by Faden. And you're going to see right here, Jesse Turner, Christian Master. I don't think that 17 takes a hit. He's close. I think he stopped. I don't think he got into him. Wilmington was the one who got into Lewis, and that was about it in terms of contact. It could have been a lot worse. Thankfully, they kind of kept it all together, and the only damage you see to the number 20 machine of Ethan Lewis right there. Replay this in real time, and Faden just had a full head of steam off the corner, and that got Lewis all loose, and then, yeah, just the big squeeze off the corner. And Turner did not hit him. He did not run into him at all. I did notice damage on Nathan Ormond. Not sure where this officially occurred. It might have happened on the pit lane. I'm actually theorizing that is where it happened. We'll see if we can run into it here. May have actually been on the cooldown lap, because you know how cooldown laps can be sometimes. And Nathan Ormond there in the number 9. He actually got a piece of that one, and I think he may have run into the back of someone here. Don't know who it would have been. Anyways, I saw the damage. I don't know where it happened. I'll see if I can find it here for you guys. And it's right here, coming off the pit lane. Durrani they kind of jammed up coming off there, and Ryan Durrani got a piece of that one. Got some rear end damage there to the 41 machine. And then Nathan Ormond got the worst of that one. He actually came back down the pit lane. He'll be starting in the last position on this restart. But the big question is, will these guys up front be able to make it to the end? They didn't come down. They're going to need another caution, I think. Nathan Faden, Zachary Fitzwater, Noah Clifton, Seth Cole, Chris Reynolds, Brandon Nelson, Brendan Williamson, Ethan Lewis. They all stayed out. Will any of them go to victory lane here today in the Michigan 100K? We'll get to the restart here in Michigan. Back here at the Michigan International Speedway. Everybody's still on the lead lap after that incident. A very mild incident, thankfully. But that's going to shake things up in terms of the fuel mileage, because Nathan Faden, Zachary Fitzwater, Noah Clifton, Seth Cole, Chris Reynolds, Brandon Nelson, Brendan Wilmington, Ethan Lewis, the two guys caught up in that accident, all stayed out. Top 8 stayed out. Then you have Troxel and Zach Winkle rounding out the top 10. They came down, but they were not in the pit lane that long. I think some guys took more fuel than others, and that just completely shifted the entire spectrum of this field. Jesse Turner is 16th right now. He's still outside the points. Currently, Noah Clifton would receive 15 points towards the championship, be 4 behind Jesse Turner. Fastest lap is still Hunter Braxton, but Braxton is not inside the top 10. As a matter of fact, Braxton's deep in the field in the 21st position. Pace car down the pit lane. It's going to be 13 laps to go in the Michigan 100K. Will these top 8 have enough fuel to make it to the end? Or will we have ourselves a wild finish like we did last time here in the Wawa Pro Series? Zachary Fitzwater. Will he make it 4 in a row? I don't know. The big question is with the fuel. I don't see these guys having enough fuel to make it, even with the caution. I just don't think they're going to have enough, but maybe they were hoping for another caution or quick one here in Michigan. I mean, we came close a few times before the caution actually did come out. There actually is a little bit of damage there on Ethan Lewis, but it's not slowing him down at all. And Turner's not being slowed up either. I think everyone's basically under full power right now. Maybe Brendan Wilmington's a little off pace. Nathan Faden doing a good job holding these guys off right now. Clifton there for second on Zachary Fitzwater. You gotta remember too, I mean, hardly anyone took tires under that caution. I don't think anyone took tires under that caution, and there may have been something that happened because Nathan Ormond has a ton of damage there. That may have been on the pit lane. I don't remember seeing that. Of course, you guys have probably already seen that, but of course the way I have to record these races, I can't go back and review anything during the race because the game likes to crash, and you know we can't have that happen. But you guys watching this right now probably have already seen what happened there to Nathan Ormond. Nathan Faden, on the other hand, on the other end of the field, leading here at Michigan. And Troxel did not get a good run there. He's falling behind. Jesse Turner's passing now, and Troxel just going nowhere. So of all the guys who did come down the pit lane to top off, Zach Winkle is leading them right now. And then Nathan Stapleton trying to get around him. And for the race lead, Zachary Fitzwater on the inside of Faden as we come to 10 laps to go here in Michigan. And, you know, these guys may have been on to something. The way these guys are racing here in the back of this field, it's possible that they may be able to make it. But they're going to have to have another caution in order for that to work. Brendan Wilmington's coming down right now, so may have been something wrong on that 19 from that accident. Faden going to cross back over on Fitzwater for the race lead. And then number 99 going to take it away right there. Got Seth Cole here to the inside as well. Clifton, Brandon Nelson, Chris Reynolds, and you got Stapleton and Winkle, two guys who did come down the top off, and they're pulling away from the rest of the field right now. Turner is doing an excellent job, and assuming that these 7 guys ahead of the field have to come back down, or have to come down the pit lane at some point in this race, Turner would be in the points. And he does not need that much to get around the 21. He's going to need 11 points in order to clinch the championship ahead of Noah Clifton. That's what he needs. And in order to get at least 11 points, he has to finish top 4. Or finish 5th and get the fastest lap. That fastest lap is still going to Hunter Braxton as of right now. So we could still see Turner clinch, assuming these guys up front have to come down. They might have stretched it somehow. They're not getting around Ethan Lewis. Of course, Ethan Lewis there, the number 20, has a bit of aerodynamic damage there from that incident earlier on. All these guys right on each other here, and caution's not out the way they were on each other. It almost looked like the yellow was out. Fitzwater moving to the inside of Faden. And we're closing in on the fuel window for these guys as well. You got Brandon Nelson. You know what? It may not even come down to that, at least in terms of the race win. Stapleton is flying out here right now in the 48 machine. He's absolutely flying. And he's pulled away from Zach Winkle. Dylan Young coming around the number 12. And look at who is in the 4th position of those guys who came in and topped off. Jesse Turner. And he finishes right there, and everyone ahead of him who didn't come down under the caution comes down. He'll win the championship. So it may just play right into Turner's hands right here today, a race early. We'll have to see if that ends up being the case. None of these guys coming down yet, but I'm not feeling too good about them. Zachary Fitzwater holding on. Because you got to remember, they had a couple laps under caution, so that's why they're able to stretch it a little bit more, but I don't know. They're probably hoping for a caution to come out right at this moment, and if that happens, then we may end up seeing these guys stretch it under caution. But there's just no way. There's just no way they can make it to the end of the race without coming down. Fitzwater and Clifton 1-2 right now. Clifton moving to the inside. The way things are currently running at the moment, if Clifton makes the pass, Clifton takes the points lead. None of these guys coming down quite yet. And they only have 5 laps to go, but they can't make it, can they? Can they go 30 laps? Seth Cole in the 24 now moving to the inside. He's another guy in championship contention. I'm sure he's hoping they can all make it. And if they can, then you got Seth Cole and you got Noah Clifton. We're going to move themselves right into championship contention heading into Darlington. But I think right here we're seeing someone come down. That is... Nope. I thought that he was going to come down, and he wasn't. Fitzwater almost went around there. Oh, this is getting really interesting here. Fitzwater lost a lot of ground right there. I thought Brandon Nelson was coming down, but he was not. Just really deep on that inside lane. And then ahead of him, they almost got into it and wrecked. And Fitzwater falling outside the top 10 right there as Stapleton gets around him. Noah Clifton and Seth Cole, they're 1-2 right now. And they continue to stay out. None of these guys coming down. Ethan Lewis coming down. He does have damage. And Fitzwater also coming down, who also has damage from the incident. But I don't think they're going to be able to make it. And now that's going to put Dylan Young. Dylan Young is in position right now to win this race. Now, Turner would love to get points regardless, and if everyone still has to come down here, and everyone does come down, he will still move inside the top 10. But that's gonna be it for Clifton. Depends on where Turner finishes. Clifton's probably gonna come down here. Yep. The 2 leaders, Clifton and Seth Cole, coming down. Fain's down. Nelson's down. Reynolds is down. None of them will get points here today. They tried to stretch it. They just didn't have enough. They were looking for a caution, and it didn't happen. So it's now 2 laps to go with Dylan Young leading the field. The problem for Dylan Young is that Jesse Turner is in the top 10. Even if Young wins this race, he's not going to have a shot at the championship. Braxton, I should say, Hunter Braxton still with the fastest lap. Turner right there in 7th. That awards 6 points towards the championship. So it is possible Turner could clinch the championship in the sprint race at Darlington, but it's also possible that he can get 4th place here. White flag in the Michigan 100K for Dylan Young. Zach Winkle is here. Nathan Stapleton is here. Will Turner have a shot at 4th place? If he finishes 4th, he wins the championship. Winkle to the inside for the race lead. Don't count out Stapleton quite yet. If he shoots the middle, he might have a shot. And he's got to run, but I don't think he's going to have enough. They're closing in on lap traffic. That's Hunter Braxton. Zach Winkle is going to win the Michigan 100K. And, oh boy, it was close. Trey Wright finishes in the 4th position. Jesse Turner finishes 6th. And Turner receives 8 championship points. The fastest lap was Hunter Braxton, but Braxton did not finish top 10. And with that, I do believe that this championship is going to be between only Turner and Clifton. And very well, Turner could win the championship on the sprint race. I'm pretty sure. Let me think here. Yeah, he's going to have 27. He's going to have 27 points heading in to Darlington. So that means that if Noah Clifton does not finish top 3 in the sprint race, then Jesse Turner wins the championship. So he hasn't clinched it yet, but it's looking really good for Jesse Turner here today. How about the winner? Zach Winkle started dead last here in Michigan, and he went on to get the race win here in this Michigan 100K. How about that? Zach Winkle, Nathan Stapleton, Dylan Young, Trey Wright, Dan Park, Jesse Turner, which is the big one right there, William Brock, Priya McShane, Thomas Troxel, Christian Master. That is the official top 10 receiving championship points. I just don't understand that strategy. If you stayed out under that, or I should say if you came down under that caution, you would have still had an opportunity at this championship. I mean, that knocked everyone except Clifton out, and that even hurt Clifton. Clifton was up there. he could have easily gotten the top 10 if he had come down the pit lane, and just didn't work for him. That's what Davis handed it to Turner. Now, I understand what they were trying. If another caution had come out, they would have been able to make it, and that's what they were hoping was going to happen, and my goodness, we came close when Fitzwater almost got spun around, but they didn't throw it. They kept it going, and that was it. But it's still not over yet, and I know it's going to be a while before we get to the finale here. It's just the way it works out. 3 weeks from now, early May, going to be the South Carolina 125K, but I think the sprint race is actually where it's going to happen, assuming that Noah Clifton does not receive any championship points in the sprint race. Clifton is going to have to, bare minimum, get third, and Turner not get any championship points in that sprint race. It's going to take a lot for Clifton, but it's still mathematically possible that Clifton could win the championship. But you'd have to get points in the sprint race, and he's going to have to win the feature event. No matter what, he's going to have to win the feature event. And he's also going to have to get points in the sprint race as well. And he's going to start 15. He's on that inside lane at Darlington. That's where you want to be. Turner's on the outside lane to start for that sprint race. But I'm telling you, it's one in 1,000, I think, for Clifton to win it. I just feel that way. So that was a good run there for Turner. Getting 8 points here in Michigan. And that's his 8th top 10 in a feature event this season, which still isn't the most. That still goes to Nathan Faden. So Faden's going to at least tie for the most points-paying finishes in feature events this season. But Faden did not get a race victory here in the Wawa Pro Series this year. It's a fun one. Zach Winkle goes to victory lane. I think we should focus on that a little bit more as well. Like I said, he started dead last in this race, and he just drove around everyone. And that incident there with Zachary Fitzwater slowed up Stapleton and allowed Winkle and Young to close in and take it away from him. So Zach Winkle gets it done here at the Michigan International Speedway in the Michigan 100K. And they'll start on the pole for the sprint race at Darlington, the Darlington Sprint, 3 weeks from now here on AG, the channel. Next week, it's the Grand Prix of Lime Rock in the Haas IndyCar Series. The week after that, it's the Kansas 125K in the Haas IndyCar Series. Then it's the Wawa Pro Series finale the weekend after that. The Indy Road Course race the weekend after that in the Haas IndyCar Series. And then Indy 250 qualifying the weekend after that. And then the weekend after that is the Indianapolis 250. So we got a lot of great stuff coming up here on the channel. And then in early June, hopefully, we'll get the Wawa Pro Series Season 2 started. So we're having a lot of stuff coming up here on the channel. Hope you stick around and enjoy it. Congratulations to Zach Winkle for winning here at the Michigan International Speedway. Here are the point standings after 14 races, and Turner's almost got it, but he doesn't quite have it yet. Clifton still has a shot. We'll have to see if he can do anything 3 weeks from now at Darlington. We'll try to do better the next time. Congratulations to Zach Winkle on winning the Michigan 100K, and I will see you guys later.